At least 3 domestic subversive targets were the subject of numerous entries from October 1952 to June 1966.
Members of the press did their own investigations, which ultimately then led to, in the mid-1970s, an investigation by Senator Frank Church, which became known as the Church Committee, which conducted an investigation into all aspects of government misconduct and surveillance of political organizations in the 50s, 60s, and the 70s.
We're dealing also with the FBI, a law enforcement agency in this country. And if the law enforcement agencies that are charged with enforcing the law don't themselves obey the law, then who will? Our problem with the CIA has not had to do with its foreign operations, but has had to do with violations of the law, which says that the CIA stays out of the domestic affairs of the United States. There was a real purpose for that. The purpose was trying to preserve a free society and not let an intelligence agency in the name of national security begin to erode away the foundations of freedom in our own land.
What you see is the government taking it upon itself the supervision of what is allowed politically and what is not allowed politically. And when those decisions are made by essentially an organization that's a political police force, such as the FBI, or intelligence agencies like the CIA or the Department of Defense Intelligence, when those kind of people are making decisions of what is politically appropriate for the citizens to do, then we don't have a democracy. Then we have essentially a police state, because the police are deciding what can happen. And so that's the fundamental crime of the CointelPro programs.
Whether there's stress or turbulence doesn't really excuse agencies, law enforcement agencies of the government, or the president himself from rising above the law and proceeding in lawless fashion.
The FBI admitted to the Congress of the United States that they had over 1 million documents on the Puerto Rican independence movement. 1 million documents on a movement of a very small island. And it speaks to how important the CointelPro program has been vis-a-vis the Puerto Rican independence movement.
They actually intensified with a lot of money their attacks, which largely are comprised of illegal tactics to make the criminal the victim and the victim the criminal, to turn everything around. So we couldn't win the hearts and minds of the people if we wanted. So we will begin to be looked upon as the enemies of the people instead of what we were, freedom fighters, fighting for people.
So they're using mind games, manipulation, deceit to create confusion, dissension, and end up destroying the leadership. I was in the middle of that, and I would say that the repercussions of that kind of CointelPro operation are still present.